Hi, we're live here at the Alamo Archaeology site with Dr. Nesta Anderson.
Good morning. It's July 28th. I'm here for the daily update. As you all know, well, those of you in San Antonio, we got quite a bit of rain last night, which we were able to scramble and get everything covered very well. So we got lucky and we are working today. We're still drying out in a few of the units, so I don't have a great deal to report, but it does look like we've got some adobe kind of peeking up in some of the other units. Too soon to tell what that means, whether it's more blocks or whether it's just melted adobe from when the walls collapsed. So we're taking a look at that. Kay Hines yesterday, the city archaeologist, mentioned that we were finding some 19th century materials. We are finding those things. They are early 19th century for the most part. I know some of the things we found do date into the 20th century or even to the 21st in the case of the lead glazed wares. But we are finding things that are intact, it seems, from the early 19th century. What that means to us is that there may be earlier deposits that are also intact underneath, and that's what we're very excited to try to find out. For those of you at home who may be wondering what does that actually all mean, what it means is we are no longer finding evidence of disturbance from modern plastic or other materials in the soil. We've got something that we can definitively say, hey, this comes from the early 19th century, and then hopefully as we go down, the deposits get older and we start to see different living surfaces throughout time. So today we're hoping to get some of that accomplished. Hopefully the sun will stay strong. I know my crew is probably cursing me for saying that because it is getting kind of warm out here. But hopefully the sun will help us dry out and start to go a little deeper in some of the units. Yesterday, Kay also updated you about Unit 1. Unit 1 is where we had found the adobe bricks that everybody has seen. We are expanding that to see if we can catch more of that brick and start to figure out orientation, what kind of wall that might have been. So we are working on that now. That unit is dry. We really protected it well. So we're moving forward on that. We are going to be lucky enough to have Jake Ivey, who is the man who did the excavations for the Center for Archaeological Research out here in the 70s. So right kind of in front of where I'm standing, there was an archaeological investigation in the late 70s, early 80s. And Jake Ivey is the one who led those excavations. Well, he is part of our project team, and he will be coming out to share his recollections and experiences and take a look at what we have so we can start to understand how those past excavations relate to what we're doing now and to get a better sense of exactly what's going on at this site. We're really excited he can be here. He joins my team from Pape Dawson, the University of Texas San Antonio Center for Archaeological Research, and Robert Kistner, all of who are here on site today, working as best we can at the south wall that got pretty wet, and here at the west wall to try to really get into things. So that's kind of where we're headed. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
How many units do you have at the two sites, and what kind of depths are you at now?
We have got 7 units here at the west wall, and we've got 5 laid out on the south wall. In the west wall, we're at various depths. For the most part, we're down about 20 centimeters average. But that's a really good question actually, because we've got different size units open. We work in 1 by 1 meter squares. So the unit where we found the adobe blocks that people have seen photos of, that is a 1 by 1 meter unit square. That's kind of our standard. We also have a 1 by 2. So we have 2 of those squares right next to each other to get a better look. That's open. And then we've got 4 of those in a block excavation. So a nice big block area we've opened to kind of see as a horizontal what's going on and get a better snapshot of the ground surface. So total of 7 units, but 3 areas here at the west wall.
Did you say that you found more adobe brick in relation to what you had found earlier?
We are seeing adobe peak up in some of the other units, but we have no confirmed brick. Just getting the beginnings.
Nesta, a question from Facebook. What kind of indicators do you look at to determine what, with the adobe that you're finding, is it part of the wall? Is it part of the west wall? What do adobe pieces peeking up look like to you?
So the question was, for people who might not have been able to hear it, how do we know when we are getting adobe that whether it's brick or wall fall or what we're getting? Honestly, when we first start exposing it, we don't know. We're just scraping away the soil and trying to very gently define the shape of what we've got. So if it's a nice linear brick, we're going to know because we're going to have edges. If it's turned on its side, it may be a mystery to us for a while till we get enough of it kind of uncovered and can see what we've got. If it's kind of what we call melt or wall fall, then it's a little bit more amorphous. There's not necessarily a defined shape. So we get the color that peaks up first and the texture. As we're kind of scraping that dirt gently away, the texture changes with adobe and we can feel it. So we know to proceed with caution. Did you have a question?
The content of the adobe, what it's made out of, is that clays and stuff? Does it change with time or just the location?
That's a great question. The gentleman's question was, does the content of adobe change over time? Does it tell us location, where it's made? It can tell us all sorts of things like that. In fact, we are going to be taking samples of the adobe and trying to get the composition analyzed.
Can you kind of paint the picture for us, for those of us or folks who haven't been to this site before, paint the picture as far as where you're at in relation to the church? I think we have some question like, what's the west wall, what's the south
Sure.
wall? Kind of paint that picture for us.
So the iconic image of the Alamo that everybody kind of recognizes, we are across the street. So if I were to turn to my left, I would see that iconic image. So we are just across the Alamo Street. If anybody's got Google Earth, they can probably pull it up and get a look. The chapel roof is a very unique shape, pretty easily identifiable. You'll see the plaza. And then we are just across the Alamo Street. And if you're looking at a map or at Google Earth, you'll see an open area with a series of what look like brick walls. Those are the reconstructed walls that we're looking at, and that's where we are. Any other questions? If that's it for today, I mean, I'm happy to entertain questions. If not, we will see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Nesta.
Thanks.
For those of you asking, here's another shot of the Alamo Chapel across the street. This is the south wall dig site, and then here is the west wall site. So thanks for tuning in.